I buy it too. I mean, as soon as you have any a white man involved in any dietary decision making, you're in for a bad time.
It's all over. It's all over.
You know what else is all over?
What's that?
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Pixel. My name is Kevin. With me, as always, is Phil. And on today's show, we're diving deeper into Halo Epitaph. We're doing more of Kelly Gay's Halo Epitaph.
Still the weirdest Halo book we've ever read.
Weirdest, but I gotta tell you, part 2, like I was in on part 1, right?
Yeah.
Part 2, I was like, oh, I'm so in.
It's so funny because we had our introduction with Kelly Gay was it last year or the year before? I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember.
And that was a book that we were like, man, like this is different from Halo stuff, right? And now we're reading this one. It's like, wow, she just keeps on doing it.
She's zigging and zagging and ducking and diving. I mean, she would be able to make that the dodgeball team with the amount of ducking and diving she's doing.
The best there is. Dodgeball champion every year, Kelly Gay.
Kelly Gay dodgeball champ.
Yes, done. We
If,
gotta make
if
her
she doesn't have,
award for her.
if she doesn't have, we should send her that T-shirt. Apropos of nothing, maybe don't even.
Thanks, Kelly.
I feel like she might listen to our. I think she listens to our episodes, but and just in case she misses that, I think we should send her a T-shirt.
Send
that
it to
just
her.
says Kelly Gay.
Nothing. And it should include a copy of her book that we've signed to really, just to be dicks about it. Just thought you'd like a little memento.
There you go.
From one wildly successful author to a couple of podcasters, or the other way around.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. But you know where it does matter? It matters in patreon.com/pixelitpod.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, buddy. That's a good website. That's a good place. That's a good URL to type into your
good place
browser.
for you to visit.
Yeah. So you know what? Social media, it's all over the map, right?
Yes.
Things are bubbling up. Things are dying away. Elon Musk he's throwing tantrums on Twitter, on Shitter. That's Twitter with an X in front of it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, go follow us. Go to patreon.com/pixelitpod. You can follow us for free on there, and you'll get the updates that you need from us. You'll get the new episodes. And listen, if you're interested in throwing us a little money, we won't complain. All right.
Absolutely.
And if you throw us some money, you get access to a few choice bits, including Phil's book reviews of the random horror book that he has recently plowed through.
Yeah. What's the latest indie horror novella that I just tore through in a couple of days?
Or now that we're trying to drop ads for products and services in these, if you're on the $5 tier and up, you get a feed. You get to get the ad-free episode on our bonus feed. And if you're $10, you get a shout out during the episode. And to that end, I gotta say, shout outs to Friendly Friend, who's been here the longest
from the beginning. Hell yeah,
Friendly Friend. We got Jesus Loves You, and we got Ruthless Mutter. Thank you so much for your support. Everybody else, get on over there. You can go to pixelitpod.com or patreon.com/pixelitpod. They both take you to the same place. And, join the party.
Yeah. There's going to be cake in there.
There's going to be cake.
Lots of cake.
Cake. Go get yourself a cake.
Come on. That's exactly it. Everyone gets their own.
Everyone gets their own cake.
That's why our party is better.
That's why our party's better.
Exactly.
We were talking before the episode about food and how the wild thing is when you eat when you're trying to eat like diet food, like low fat or whatever. We have determined that you shouldn't do that, and you should just eat the thing that is delicious and satisfying versus like, because Phil doesn't like cream cheese.
No.
And I was talking about low-fat cream cheese. Now, listener,
This is
if
awful.
you have had low-fat cream cheese, if you have been injured by low-fat cream cheese, please come over to our Discord and talk about your experience with low-fat cream cheese, because I'm trying to find the metaphor to explain to Phil the travesty that is low-fat cream cheese.
I don't like cream cheese, and when Kevin described it, I was like, "Oh, that sounds awful."
Yeah,
Like that. I don't like cream cheese, period. But yeah, it sounds. It literally had the thought to myself, I was like, "Well, just eat the fucking cream cheese." There's no.
just eat the cream cheese.
Just eat the cream cheese. There's no point.
I would eat less cream cheese, just a thin layer of cream cheese, as opposed to eating that amalgamation of despair. That is what low-fat cream cheese is.
I remember years and years ago when Kevin and I were kids, the big kick was margarine. Everyone was doing margarine. It was like the oil-based, less fat, alternative to butter. And I remember my dad explaining to us why we weren't getting it anymore. And he was like, "Look, this is butter. It is made of cream. It is made of natural things. It's got fat, yes, and all that stuff, but it is a natural product. There's nothing wrong with it." And he said, this margarine stuff is made of oil, and it's really processed, and it's just it's garbage, and I can't believe that's good for you. And then years later, my father validated when everyone was like, "Oh yeah, don't eat margarine. That's
the Colonel." Vindicated.
Again.
Again.
When is he ever gonna be wrong?
Listen, your dad represents a growing minority in the in like the more conservative Republican hemisphere of people who just believed things to be like, yeah, just keep it simple,
Right. Yeah. Dad, he just is a conservative guy. He's not insane.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very pleased.
Lowercase c, conservative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just an old Southern guy. That's all.
Old Southern guy. He's
Well, actually,
from,
that sounds worse when I say it, but he's not that bad.
he's from Alabama, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take from that what you will.
Take from that what you will. Oh boy! All right, so we've done enough dilly dallying. We're gonna put this body in the marsh.
Let's put the body in the marsh.
Replacement for the city of Boston.
All right. Chapter 11. Chapter 11 opens with the Didact and Haruspis in an area where they are surrounded by storms and monoliths and a vortex. This happens a lot, by the way. I don't know why I haven't created just a shorthand for they end up in the liminal vortex zone.
Yeah, they're in wibbly wobbly space time continuum.
That's exactly what it is. And he's gonna and guess what? I know you're not gonna see this. This is a very good book, but I will make fun of it in the sense that I know you can't guess what's gonna happen next. He's gonna remember something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what we've signed up for with this book.
This book is like. So it's like, all right, it's What Dreams May Come meets, what's it, the Charles Dickens Christmas Carol. What Dreams May Come meets Christmas Carol meets Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
A little bit, yeah. except it's that bad Fire Festival Charlie and the Chocolate Factory
Except it's Fire
experience
Festival.
That all those kids got shystered out of. That holy shit.
And the Herispis, who's basically the sound you make when you're trying to get your cat's attention.
Pretty much.
Is Grandpa Joe.
Yeah.
And
It's somehow less physically imposing.
yes, let's yeah.
They end up in the Synchron. It's a defining moment in the life of the Didact, who was known at the time as Shadow of Sundering Star. Say that 3 times fast. And this is just the beginning of what we're going to get in this section of just the gothiest goddamn space opera names you've ever heard. And he hasn't been around long enough to really I don't know. It's like this weird goth 80s movie Native American name kind of thing. And it's like,
Yeah.
how did he get that? Who looks at their baby and there's like, I'm going to call him Shadow of Sundering Star. That sounds nice. After your father. Yeah, that'll be nice.
After your father.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. After shithouse.
Yeah. Oh, we miss him. So he's surrounded by the people who trained him. Basically, he's seeing his young man, unblooded self. A bunch of young warriors being led to an arena. He sees himself, but he doesn't have a memory of this moment. He knows that that's him,
Right.
but he doesn't remember this, and he doesn't know why. And experiences a moment of intense humiliation. And it says, "Oh boy, my son is pissed." I don't know if you can hear him.
Oh, I hear him.
Oh, good. We can all hear him. For inciting rebellion, subverting the government, and crimes against the mantle of responsibility, you are hereby condemned. Your sacrifice soothes the ecumen and serves as a warning. Only an ecumen united and free from eternal strife can survive in perpetuity to serve the mantle. As its stewards, long have we dealt with discord, rebellion, and civil war, but the blight ends here. The conflict is over. May it never rise again. So this is basically showing that the Didact has been starting some shit for a long, long time.
Well, this was his parents, right?
But it's his parents. Yeah, he comes from shit starting stock. Basically.
Yeah.
That his mom and dad,
Real
were the leaders.
Irish coded.
Yeah, very much. Immune to psychological effects and shit like that. His mom and dad were leaders in the Cradle conflicts, which were civil war, basically, against the builder class, which they define as like corrupt bureaucratic assholes, which is fine.
Right.
They are total true believers in the whole thing, and they are not just executed, they are obliterated to the point where there would be no storage of their memories or their remains or their skills or anything like that, which is commonplace for those people, for the Forerunners, and to not do that is like to be truly lost, to be truly gone.
Right.
And we find out later that we're gonna go. Sorry, go.
The conflict is with it's the warrior class versus the master builders. Basically, is like the Civil War.
Yeah.
And every time I see master builders, I just think of the Lego Movie.
I go Minecraft. That's so funny. I keep thinking we were both going bricks. No, I think of Minecraft. That's so funny. Okay, so we go to chapter 12. Once again, the Didact is ejected from the domain.
He is once again ejected.
Just fired out like a fucking sperm out of a dick. Just fired out. And he's noticing that the domain seems willful. Like it's doing this on purpose. Like it's got some sentience to it. And he says, perhaps it knew the schemes that had been populating through his mind. Perhaps it was confusing him, guarding against him and what he ultimately wanted from its storehouse of near infinite knowledge. After all the time he'd spent in its halls, it should know him quite well. So yeah, it's picking up on the vibe he's putting down, essentially, and saying, all right, I'm going to fuck with you a little bit, and then out you go. You get to play outside.
You're an outside kid.
You're an outside kid. The Didact spent some time considering how different his life may have been if things had gone differently. He remembers watching his home star systems destroyed, like millions upon millions of people who participated in these rebellions and didn't, one would have to assume, murdered. And he, instead of being executed like his parents, is put into stasis, and his memory is fully erased. He basically has to start a new save game.
Yep. Yeah, he has nothing. They take away his memory of his family.
Yeah.
So that's how thorough the annihilation of the traitors in Forerunner, like lore and mythos is not only were they deleted in a way where their essence would not be codified into the Forerunner afterlife, they take them away from him.
Yes.
Like his existence, and that's just wild.
It's crazy, and it's cruel, and it also explains a lot about how every single time he's ended up in some form of stasis, he loses a piece of himself after he gets out of it. This is the beginning of this long process of him fucking up and getting thrown into stasis and then being found and then fucking up and getting thrown into he's of course he's warped. It makes a lot of sense, actually. He is given his first mutation in stasis, which is part of the growth process for the Forerunners. It's basically used to control him, and it makes him a warrior servant rate. And they send him to a planet to begin training. So I've just been writing down a lot of the quotes in here that I've been really enjoying, because Kelly's a really good writer. And let's see. So he meets the people who are going to be in charge of him. And from this moment on, you will be known as Shadow of Sundered Star. The life you had before no longer applies to the life you will begin today. Do you understand? And he says, no. And so she smacks him. She gives him a good Rafiki smack with the stick.
Right.
It's the beginning of his training. Very Yoda.
It's the beginning of his training. It's the cruel tutelage of what's his name from Kill Bill.
Oh, Pai Mei.
Pai Mei, yeah.
Yes. See, why did I go with Rafiki and you picked Pai Mei? God damn it. God damn it. This is what happens when you marry a Disney princess. It's everything's different now. Okay, chapter 13. Once again, so many of these chapters just start with the Didact remembers ...
Yeah.
He remembers his training with another equally badass space opera goth name, Silence in the End. Pretty good.
It's a good name.
Good.
I like that name.
Good name for your prestige class assassin. Like that. Let's see. Yes, and Silence in the End is the origin of his first mutation and his new life, basically. Because you have to get them from someone, just like how he has the clone out there. It's basically him. They talk a little bit about family, how much it matters within the hierarchy of things in the warrior servant rate, and the fact that he has none, and doesn't seem to understand why he has none, puts him pretty low on the ladder.
It's like, it puts him at a disadvantage until some kids fuck around, you know?
Yeah, they sure do. Oh boy, do they. And they fucking pay for it. So these students hack into the system, basically. They do some really illicit shit, hack into the system, find out about his parents, and just mock him to death for it, basically. And he gets into a huge fight with them and just basically beats the shit out of all of them. And then goes to his teacher and demands the truth. Is this the truth? And he gets it. Yeah, it's true. And the students, as recompense for all of this shit, they are brain wiped and sent back to their home worlds. Yes,
they're brain wiped. They're stripped of their rank. They're ejected from the school and sent back home.
It's brutal.
Without knowing why they're back home.
They have no idea. They have no, at least when he got his brain wiped, he got sent to the next step. He's like, well, I'm here, I guess. Like, they're going back home and they're like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
So he's kind of shocked because that is pretty harsh, but it turns out one of his trainers, Bitterness, a great name, by the way, is a fan of his parents, essentially.
Yeah.
Was basically in support. Your parents were right, he says.
Yep.
They just didn't have power. They just weren't strong enough.
Yep.
And that sucks. But it didn't mean that they were wrong. So he's kind of on his side here. He reacts badly to this. He runs away and becomes a stowaway on the Confirmer's ship. Our old pal, the Confirmer.
The Confirmer. He's back.
Yeah, he's back.
Or he was.
Or he was. Yeah,
we're all over on the... And time is really all over the place right now.
It's a flat circle. And Time really is all over the place in this book. So he gives him his second mutation. And the Didact basically realizes like the domain is forcing him to reflect on his past deeds, saying, think about what you've done. Essentially, he doesn't know why, but he knows that these aren't just coming willy-nilly. The domain isn't just throwing shit at him. It's got some sort of plan for why it's showing him these memories. So he's just trying to figure out he decides he needs to figure out what Cortana wants with the domain.
Yeah.
That it is, and realize that whatever her need for it is, that it is way too much power for her, and he's going to have to annihilate her.
Right.
How he's
it's
going to do
my
this?
domain, not
right.
hers.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's mine, though. How he's going to do this is anyone's guess because he is just a fragile, busted up guy right now. Let's see. Okay, chapter 14. The Didact and our Horispus kind of sit with each other and watch another interaction between Cortana and the Warden Eternal. And the Horispus is, after the Didact was just like manhandled by him several times, he has a healthy respect for the Warden Eternal. But Horispus basically says like he's fragile. He explains to him he's kind of a fragile guy. The domain in general is incredibly fragile. It was wrecked by the Halos way back. It is not immortal. It is not invincible. And sometimes it needs help. And let me see here. I need to just have bookmarkers in these things. Imagine a wounded animal, it continued, retreating in on itself, curling into a tight ball and throwing out its damaged quills, the only meager defenses it has to protect itself. The Void and the Warden Eternal are the domain's wounded response, its damaged quills. So this thing that looks intimidating, huge, and scary to you is kind of its last line of defense, and kind of a sad one at that. And so Cortana is essentially offering protection to the domain. So you're hurting.
Hey,
I can protect
why don't you come over? It's like a mafia scam,
It's pretty good repository of billions of souls and minds and memories and skills and stuff. Sure would be a shame if something were to happen to it. That's essentially what she's doing.
You let me in, you let me own it, I'm the person, you're still the person on the deed. It's
Absolutely.
just me. It's just for the the legal purposes.
I'm doing you a favor. Really.
I'm doing
just by
maybe
even
we burn a little bit down for the insurance money, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it for now. Eh?
What?
That's
No,
Cortana.
I've never seen Goodfellas. So the Horispus realizes the desperation of the whole situation and takes the Didact into the domain. And when they get in there, they see that the rogue AI of Cortana is spreading through the domain, basically infecting it. Cortana makes her big Evita speech. No, this isn't it yet. She'll have an Evita speech later. Right now, she just makes the announcement that this is her home now. She's clearly snapped. She's completely out of her gourd. This is kind of the first time Didact realizes that. He's like, oh, she's crazy.
Yeah,
Okay.
she is not a stable AI or whatever the Forerunner word for it is. It's like ancillary or something like that.
Ancilla.
Ancilla, yeah.
This is his kind of like, oh, she crazy moment. She snapped. So he challenges her claim and is promptly fired out. Once again, just shot off into the sunset. It's beautiful. Back in the wibbly
wobbly timey-wimey land.
Timey-wimey place. He finds himself in a shaft of light surrounded by darkness. There are figures in the darkness. It turns out they are humans. And he realizes that these are the souls of the millions of humans that he digitized.
He killed these people.
Yes, millions of them. they are all connected to the domain. He has he does have a oh shit moment, like in terms of like, oh, I did this to them. Like he actually does have, maybe wrong choice of words, but he finds a bit of humanity there, a bit of a Forerunner-anity. Where he's like, oh gosh, that is a lot of people that I killed. Okay, wow. And then next, I just have the words ghost zombie attack written down because they basically just swarm his ass.
Yeah.
But they're incorporeal.
They're not as defined as he is.
Exactly.
It's like they haven't pulled themselves together.
Yeah.
so to
yeah.
speak.
Exactly. And he's just getting lightly pummeled. It's like being swatted. But it's millions of times, so he is getting his ass handed to him. It's just kind of an awkward, slow ass handing. And we do have a really great moment where he's laying there getting his ass kicked and thinking about how his wife wanted to help these humans. Everyone seems to want to help these humans. I wrote, why does everyone like the humans best? The humans are
Why
the
don't they
beloved,
like me? I am the
exactly.
Didact.
That's exactly it. He really doesn't. It's like, why everyone thinks they're so charming and cute, and I'm over here and I'm super powerful. And he's having another emo moment. It's pretty sad. He wakes up from his pummeling. They haven't gone anywhere. They're catching their breath. I don't know. But the humans make room for I'm gonna botch this name. Fort Henshaw.
It's
Fortenshaw. I feel like I said his name way better last episode. I don't know why it's
the Lord. You could just call him the Lord of Admirals.
Yes, the Lord of Admirals, the guy in charge of the humans before they devolved them. Basically. And the killer of his kids, essentially.
Yes. Yeah.
And he is there. He is similar to the Didact in the sense that he seems to have more physical.
He's got himself together.
Yeah, he's a little more together. So we've got. Yes, I see the destruction I wrought, the Didact announced preemptively. And no, I do not feel any remorse. Which is him kind of trying to bait him because he does feel some remorse.
Yeah.
But he's proud still, despite everything. So the Admiral compares the Didact to those who killed his parents, and then he compares him to the Halos, always wanting to basically destroy everything, and then to Cortana with the lust for power
and control and
exactly
whatever. Yeah.
And for those of you playing the home game, those are three things / people that the Didact absolutely loathes.
Does not like them.
Yes. So he's running some really mean parallels on our old Didact buddy. So we have a quick fist fight between the two of them, and the Didact loses pretty handily. I do love that they literally has to stop and go, all right, Jesus. Like, he like throws his hand, stop hitting me. It's very painful. They're swept away to a dune near the Black Void, and they see a city being torn apart by a guardian custode. It's literally erupting from the earth underneath it and just obliterating anything.
The Guardians
the Guardians.
They're precursor technology, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Just city-sized kaiju robot galaxy bursters, basically.
Right.
That was one of the things that they were worried about. There was one that they were worried about in the last Halo book.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And they realize they're being summoned by Cortana. Cortana has tapped into the Guardians and is waking them up. So it's just these antediluvian style god machines being woken
they're Forerunner. They're Forerunner.
Oh, they're Forerunner?
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but still they are yes, I would Antediluvian is a good.
Yeah, just
I mean,
ancient.
it also fits. They are literally antediluvian.
I mean, everybody in this is antediluvian at this point, technically speaking. So the Didact finds himself within the Guardian and sees that it's being controlled by Cortana. He's basically at this point pure energy. He's ideas and thoughts and memories. He's no longer physical.
Right.
And this is where Cortana gives her Evita speech, which I'll let you guys read it in the book for yourselves. But it essentially comes down to join us or die.
Right.
Which is always the best kind of speech. You can totally see her on a balcony, It's great.
I love the fact. Okay, so she gives this speech, right?
Yeah.
And it is the big Evita speech. And she plagiarizes it.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yes, she sure does.
Because
She sure
AI do not create, they only steal.
That's right. They can't
right,
come up
kids.
with new ideas.
This is I gotta if we talk to Kelly, I gotta like ask her about this. If
That's
if
not
this was a
coincidence.
commentary.
That's no, it's not. It's like I'm really hoping that we will, and I think we will. We have a date, by the way.
Ooh.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen,
Okay.
we will be talking to Kelly Gay this time around. So you will get to ask your question. There's no way that isn't pointed. There's no way. Because you're absolutely right. I hadn't even thought of that. And you're absolutely
The
right.
AI plagiarizes a speech.
Yes. And he recognizes it and has these moments like, hey, like,
It's my speech.
blue-haired bitch. What the hell? Oh, yeah. Yeah. That makes so much sense. Jesus Christ. Chapter 16, a crazy number of AI voices are now responding to Cortana. The Guardians are all, yep, we're about it. Sounds good. Let's just, she seems like she knows what she's talking about. She's 6 inches tall and blue. I feel like we can trust her.
We can trust her. She's got the good vibes.
Yeah, exactly. She's in full control here. The Didact has this, not for the last time, a horrified moment of realizing that he's been beaten not by humans, but by a human construct. He wasn't even beaten by humans. He was beaten by something built by humans.
Right.
He catches a monitor trying to push back against Cortana. He gets a look at the Master Chief, Spartan, and team fighting against the Guardian. And it's kind of it's wishy-washy from how I read it. I may have missed some details, but it's basically him going down memory lane of Master Chief, defeating Cortana, and Cortana freaking out about it, being really upset.
Yeah.
And crying out John at the top of her lungs. And if she has lungs, I don't know. The top of her speakers.
Top of her speakers.
I don't know why that sounds dirty. The top
It
of
does.
her speakers. Ooh.
Her ample speakers.
50 watt. And
I hate it.
I don't care for that either.
I don't care for
that.
it. It's strangely objectifying
It is.
in a really confusing way.
Exactly. I don't know why I'm upset, but I know I am. So Cortana accuses the Didact of helping Master Chief in this situation because he's been hacking the system and everything. And he has to be honest. Like, no, I'm just pleased to have seen you fail miserably. That was just a nice coincidence. And so just to kind of just to say, a nice little fuck you to the Didact, she basically sends him back down, quote unquote, memory lane.
Yep.
And this is when he relives his worst memory as he sees it.
He gets this is the full on. I said it earlier. This is the full on Christmas Carol portion.
Yes.
He is being dragged around by the 3 ghosts.
Yes,
right?
that's exactly it. And we're about to get we're getting like the I don't know if this is the ghost of Christmas past and his girlfriend left him or something, but it's a bad memory.
Yeah, this is the ghost of Christmas body horror.
Yes, that's exactly. Yes, there is some serious body horror in this section. So he relives this time during the war with the flood when he basically is abandoned to the burn space that is completely infested by the flood. He uses himself as bait to distract the flood from other Forerunner ships, and he and what was it? Is it Catalog? Is the name of his assistant basically?
Catalog.
Yeah, they set up the ship to self-destruct, and it's then that the grave mind reaches out and taps into his brain, and he starts seeing the flood absorbing his people, and we get just a lot of folks, a lot of souls body horrored to death.
Yeah,
a pretty brutal scene, and that's the end of that chapter.
Yeah, and the grave mind is like the description of a grave mind is basically so you have a flood duder, right? Little flood mutant, and all the little flutters are connected to each other. But when it's just the individual one, it's just like a little node, right? But then if two of them kind of like go like blurk and kind of like into each other, then you got more, and then
this is part of his TED talk, by the way. This
a
is
grave
Kevin,
mind is when like 1 million people get smushed into floodification.
Yeah,
and it's terrible.
It's a brain bug.
Have you ever seen Slither?
Was that the one with the worms?
That was the one with the worms. It was it's a James Gunn movie.
Yeah, I said years ago. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, like the monster in that is played by what's his fuck, Michael Slither cast, because I'll be Michael Rooker.
Know.
Michael Rooker.
Yeah.
The monster's played by Michael Rooker, and at the end, like people who are infected by the worms are just like going up to him and like falling into him. And they just like absorb. It's just like a fleshy absorption thing happening.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what's in my head, basically.
Yeah, I mean that's essentially it. They're not
somewhere
wrong.
between that and Society.
Yes. Oh man, I still haven't seen that. I've seen enough to have seen it in a way.
Yeah, really only need to watch the Dead Meat
video
on it.
Oh boy,
the kill. Just watch the kill count, and you'll get the gist of it.
That's all I think I need. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's all I need. So chapter 17 opens up with him waking up essentially in a hospital room. A life worker is tending to him, and he kind of crushes on her. It's kind of like it's the scene in The Departed when Leonardo DiCaprio breaks his hand and a nurse is wrapping his hand and he's kind of like looking her over because it's clearly the first time a woman has like touched him in a kind way in forever.
Right.
And he's just like, it's like, that's what he's doing in a way.
Yeah.
And she notices, at first he thinks she's not really all that comfortable around him. And he thinks that might be something to do with that. But basically, she tells him that he was recovered by the Master Builder, his great enemy, and he rages about that. And the life worker and basically everyone on that planet fear him. He has gotten a reputation now out in the outreach of space there, where what he does is he recovers ships that have been taken by the flood, basically, and cleanses them and sells them. So he's kind of like a war profiteer, you know? And it's just really slimy work, maybe literally.
Just a lot of fire, you know? Flamethrowers really solve everything.
Just max out on flamers, and you're probably going to be okay. Just watch your back. And so he meets with the Master Builder. We do get this funny moment of him kind of deliberating and like, no, I got to be dressed better. He's like, he feels kind of schlubby. And so
Yeah.
he's like, no, I gotta put on some. So he waits for some good clothes. Then he goes meets with the master builder, because it's kind of like seeing an ex when you are when you woke up at 8 a.m. and you didn't take a shower, or you just put on flip flops and went to the grocery store because you needed
Right.
eggs.
Yeah.
And then you see your ex and she's like all made up and looking beautiful, and you're like, God damn it. That's kind of what he was trying to avoid.
Yeah.
The master builder asks him, how did you survive? And kind of cryptically, the Didact responds, I was sent with a message. And he explains that the message, of course, is his
Yeah.
knowledge of the flood.
Yeah.
I know
Look
lots
at all
of
this
stuff now.
flood stuff that they
Yeah.
injected into my brain.
Exactly. I know lots of flood stuff. I'm not infected. I'm not a living bioweapon.
I'm not infected.
So don't worry about it. The master builder delivers the Didact to the capital, where he's interrogated, and then the memory of the grave mine begins to force its way back into his head. So chapter 18 opens with the Didact pulled out into a dark space within a ship somewhere. He thinks he's in a hangar or something like that, a bay somewhere. And almost literally, the grave mine is like tapping at his brain, demanding to be let in. The grave mine appears to be different from how he remembers him, which is another one of these weird, what is real, what is the memory, what is...
Right, yeah.
It's
Is this the memory? Is this just a reconstruction?
Yeah.
How a memory changes each time you remember it. I don't know.
Right. It is interesting. The grave mine basically explains that he's there to punish the Forerunners for their act, for the act of killing the precursors.
Yes, the grave mine / the flood they were the last ditch bioweapon that the precursors created, basically as an act of revenge.
Right. So he's there. That's what this is all about. And then they're going to move on to humanity, because fuck them.
Fuck it. Everything
Fuck 'em.
dies.
Yeah, everybody dies. The Didact ends up being absorbed basically within the grave mine. There is no escape. And the grave mine tells him that it wants to know where the Ark is. And the Ark is basically a command center for the Halos.
Right.
And he says, why do you want to know? So you're afraid of the Halo too. And the grave mine's quickly like, I'm not afraid. I just think it'll be really cool to blow all you people up with the Halos.
Yeah,
So
it'd be cool if we owned it and you did not.
that would be neat.
Yeah.
So the Didact falls into finally a pleasant memory of good times with his, it's implied that she's pregnant, his wife, and they're like looking over the sun, and he's got his hands on her belly, and his wife looks at him with a loving smile and says, where's the Ark? And God damn it, you got me again, Grave Mind. You rascal. And he, sorry, go on.
No, that grave mind he's a tricky.
He's a wily guy. He's
tricky,
a wily,
tricky mass mind thing.
He's a wacky guy, and he's got
Yeah.
a sick sense of humor. I think
Sixth
it's one of the
sense of
reasons I
humor,
like
grave
him.
mind.
Crazy guy. This is where he realizes that this is kind of the origin of his resentment of his wife, basically, at this moment, because all of this is happening because of her, essentially.
Right.
And his insecurity about being cucked by himself and Clone Me, and her obsession with the humans, all that stuff.
Because the next time that the grave mind tries it, and the very next moment he tries it again with his wife, and then the grave mind has the memory of his wife say, well, I built a better version of you, and has his wife run away from him and hug the new, younger, hotter one.
It's such a 90s movie kind of move. Like, ooh, he's so much handsomer than Like she may have as well have looked at the Didact and been like, and his dick's bigger too. Like it's that level of like just
stop me when it's big.
Really? Just a tube of cookie dough. It's nuts.
A baby's arm holding an apple.
Yeah. What? That doesn't even sound like it would be fun. It is. And so it's just so mean and over the head. Like it's just so funny to think of this guy who is this like essentially like 5-star general warrior god kind of thing going, oh, my girlfriend let me for me. Like it's just so strange. It's the little it always comes back to insecurity with women, doesn't it?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
It always does. Finally, he starts losing consciousness and blacking out, and he finally hallucinates a good thing about his wife, and it's her reaching out to him to help him up, to get him away. And his final moments of consciousness, if you can even call it that in this dream, is taking her hand. And chapter 19 opens with him waking up in the valley again, and trying to figure out, like, now, was that more hallucination shit, or was my ghost wife, who we've discussed, who we know is out here probably somewhere?
Right.
Was that her? Yeah, was that her?
Or was that memory her?
Right. Which is that's the level of fucked upness that is going on in this world right now.
Right.
Was that my wife, or was that memory wife, ghost wife? Who knows?
Was that grave mind wife? Well, I don't know.
Right. So many wives, so little time. And no therapists on this planet.
And
none
no
whatsoever.
therapists,
None whatsoever.
None. Men will invent slip space before they go to therapy. You know, you know what I'm saying?
That's the moral of this. That's another question.
Men
for
will
Kelly.
face the perils of the warp before they go to therapy.
That is 100% accurate. Yes. So the Didact's wandering the valley, ready for vengeance on Cortana. He is pissed. We get a moment where he kind of considers the respect that he has for humanity despite everything, because they were fighting a 2-sided war against the Forerunners and the Flood, and they were doing really good. We get what I'm going to refer to from here on out in this book, because it happens a lot, as a moment of military philosophical pondering. Just thinking about his past as a leader and the humans. Did I do him wrong, or did I do him right? I don't know. But he does accept that.
Don't care, but do I care?
Yeah. Do I? Yeah. It's that you get a lot of pondering. He realizes though that the grave mine had been the thing that kind of made him paranoid about his wife. That maybe it wasn't really her fault. He has a memory of her basically heaving her off to the clone him. Like, have you ever seen Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid?
No, actually.
There's this, it's a really good movie. And there's this scene where, I don't remember which one of them it is, but it's 2 guys. And one of them, I think it's Robert Redford, it doesn't matter. One of them is riding on a bike with the other guy's wife kind of sitting on the handlebars, and they're flirting and that kind of thing. And this is all while her husband is asleep inside the house, and he finally comes out kind of hungover, and he looks at him and says, "What are you doing?" And he says, "I'm stealing your girl." And he just goes, "Take her." And that's kind of the moment we get with the Didact and his clone self. He's just fucking take her. Just
take her. I don't
care
anymore.
I don't care. I don't have time. I'm now the host of billions of flood spores, and I just don't have time. They get him directions to the Ark, amazingly, and meet the master builder out there, who asks him, Have you basically led the flood here to me?" And the Didact basically answers, "Maybe, probably, yes." Yeah, I did basically. And
Whoops. Whoops.
I didn't know. To be fair, he didn't know, but also he totally knew.
Yeah.
That's how they play it. He totally knew. So
But
basically,
wasn't the master builder the
flood-
one who shot him into the burn in the first place?
Absolutely, he did. He's a piece of shit. Nobody likes him. This might be a little far. So it basically lets the flood loose, and it just body horrors the fuck out of him. Gives him memories of what is his wife and his kids, daddy come back, that kind of shit. Like that level of like, you abandoned me, dad, kind of stuff. And just, it's a brutal scene. It's really fucked up.
Yeah.
But he's basically helping the master builder with all of this. Because the way he sees it is he is a host for the flood now, and the flood and wants the halos to destroy everybody. Everyone's going to die with these halos. Right. So this is going to work out. So he's basically leading the master builder to, control the halos, despite the fact that he hates that technology. Right. But this is vengeance for the precursors. And the, no one's going to want to be king of the stump after those halos basically.
After everything's fired, there's not much left,
There's nothing left, so fuck it. I'm going to get what I want either way.
Right.
And this leads to his wife eventually disabling him essentially with a rifle, and like this thing of like he let her think that he didn't know she was aiming for him. He's like, yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
And she caps him, and he remembers his her final words to him, and this is really sad. Civilizations will rise in our stead, and our job as caretakers will at last bear fruit. Until then, I leave you here, my love, the only living thing in this galaxy sealed safely away. Spend these ages ahead of you in meditation on your choices. When you wake, you will find the humans. I have ensured that they will grow strong and vibrant. They will be our rightful heirs. Their gene plan dictates that the galaxy will be theirs to care for by then. I beg of you. And it's this thing where it's like those people you devolved and turned into hunter. I'm setting them up. I'm setting their genes up. So by the time you come out of this, casket, this space casket, they are going to be the dominant species, the rightful heirs, just as we were the rightful heirs to the precursors. Right. And you have to fucking handle that. You have to be okay. You have to deal with
it. Yeah. She's like, she doesn't want to kill him. She wants him to be better.
Exactly. That's essentially what she's saying to him. Be better. Yeah. And maybe if I put you in a floating prison for 10,000 million years, you'll be better.
You'll wake up and you'll be better.
Maybe. And that's...
He wasn't.
He wasn't. I don't know. For those playing the home game, he wasn't.
Nope.
And that brings us to chapter 20. He wakes back up in the valley with the confirmer, who kind of points out that he seems to be healing. And he notices that his body he's taken on some bulk. He's not as torn apart as he was. He's not sure why, but damn, is that way better than being a shaky...
he's in better shape. He's getting thick.
Exactly. He's not a bag of bones anymore.
He's getting all caked up, as the kids say.
Just all that cake, right?
All that Didact cake.
That would have cream cheese in it. So basically, the confirmer's like, "Look, are we invading the domain or what? Like, that's what's got to happen next." And the Didact basically responds, "Maybe, probably, yeah." So he leaves the human rift and finds the Haruspis. They have a discussion about the classic how power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely, And that's the problem with Cortana having access to the domain. There's so much power there. And even if she wasn't completely insane before, she is now.
She is now.
And for the first time, the Didact kind of considers, I don't know if I want this kind of power. I don't know if this is for me either. It's actually some pretty introspective shit for him so far.
Yeah, he's like there's a bit of a character. There's some character growth, like reliving basically all the worst moments of his life. Right?
Yeah,
being captured by the grave mind, being corrupted by the grave mind, being shot by his wife.
Yeah,
leading the flood to basically the end of his own like race and civilization, whether inadvertently or not, because of the grave mind's influence. All that stuff. He like, and everything that he did was like reframed for him in a way where it's like, listen, you were just trying to take more and more and more power. You were trying to serve in a way that was not helping you didn't help anyone.
Right. No, it didn't help you. It didn't help the people you were fighting. It just, no one wins. Yeah. And he's finally starting to let that click. This has kind of all been an extended "Am I the asshole?" Reddit post. And right now he's finally reading the comments.
He's reading the comments. He's about to write an edit to the post.
Yeah, exactly. So he finds that Cortana is bringing humans into the domain, and that Cortana is basically invading the domain and putting his entire species, histories, memories. It's their heaven. It's their afterlife, and it is at risk. So this could be, the thing that happened to his parents that he was so horrified by could happen to his entire species.
Right.
And so he needs to do something about that, and leaves the domain thinking that this actually might be a way for him to redeem himself. And he thinks about the stain on his soul that he gained through the grave mind, and talks to the Haruspis about it, who kind of gleefully points out that's gone. Like there's no stain. That whatever stain that was on your soul was burned away with your physical body. You are not the person that you once were. You are totally capable of redemption, and you're not corrupt inside the way that you thought you were.
Right.
And that's the end of chapter 20, and that's where we're leaving it today.
Yeah, and the one thing we missed in chapter 20, by the way, is the warden and the mantle of responsibility are now owned by. Two big things is like the warden is now on Cortana's side.
Yes.
She finally talked him into it, into that three-way that she's always been wanting. The mantle of responsibility, which is the thing that he had always been fighting for, was the mantle of responsibility. She now controls.
Yes. Yes.
Which is like the mantle of responsibility is like it's like the WWE heavyweight championship belt. You're the king of the galaxy when you have the mantle of the responsibility.
And she's already broken its prime directive.
Heavy lies the crown.
Yeah. And she doesn't have any respect for it. She's wearing it upside down, looking like a real asshole.
Yeah. She's a real asshole.
It's just Cortana's. I think that's the thing to take away from all of this. Cortana is an asshole.
Yeah,
I think we can all agree with that.
Yeah,
and not a cute, fun asshole like she was in the original books.
I know. So. Yeah, she's really lost that joie de vivre.
Heel turn
with the steel chair.
Yeah, that's how she got the mantle. Well, Kevin, now that is all, we've finished the next 10 chapters of the book. I have only one final question to ask you.
Yeah.
What are you playing?
Oh, okay. So most of my week has been spent playing Balatro or Balatro. I'm not even sure how you say it.
I'm so glad you brought this game up and gave me a copy, by the way. I haven't played it yet, but I did not know about this game before you mentioned it, and in the days since we talked last, I have seen everyone talking about it.
Everybody is on this bad boy. It is the game of the year. So here's what's funny is I've been watching Northern Lion play it, and he is just like watching him play this is almost as fun as playing it yourself.
Oh, wow.
Because if you've watched any of Northern Lion, he's very good at the patter. Like he's been doing this for 14 years. He's been around
he's
forever.
Been doing this a while. Yeah.
So he's just like he's got the rhythm, the pattern. He can always be talking, and the way he talks about Balatro is the way I think about it in my head now. And so we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna take this Joker and we're gonna go straight to the moon, bro. We're gonna we're gonna hit the stratosphere with this deck. Like I open this pack, I snooze, moving on. It's just watch a Northern Lion streaming Balatro and really appreciate. Even if you don't want to get into the game itself, just watch some of his streams because he is been a joy to watch. The game, by the way, is amazing. It's still amazing. I said it was amazing last week. It's still amazing. I put in nearly 30 hours into it. Wow. It is one of those games where every once in a while you get a game where like all your friends on Steam are playing it. Right.
Yes.
And this year it's Balatro, or Balatro. I haven't heard it
said out loud other than by you, so I have no idea.
So just tell me which way it is, and I'll just keep saying Balatro.
Yes. Accurate.
I'll just keep saying it that way. But yeah, no, it's great. It's amazing. It's a fun little roguelike that anybody can really understand if they know the basics of poker. And even if they don't, it teaches you, what the basics of poker are. And then you just go from there with all the different fun additions. So aside from that, I bought the DLC for Power Wash Simulator. The Warhammer 40K Power Wash Simulator DLC. Because I wanted to, wash some mechs and some ships and stuff like that.
Of course. Of course.
Who amongst us has not wanted to play as an Adeptus Mechanicus armed with a power washer and cleaning a Rogel Dorn tank?
Absolutely. You've got to. I think that's a pretty top 5 fantasy for most of us at this point in our lives. Next question.
You're not driving the tank. You are cleaning the tank.
Yes.
For the next mission.
Yeah. And boy, it's going to be a big one. But you won't be there.
You won't be there because you are from the Brotherhood of Mars.
Yeah.
And your specific job is cleaning shit. Sanctifying it, making sure the machine spirits are happy, with your pressure washer.
I love that exists so much.
And there's a story going through it too. You know how in Power Wash Simulator there's like, little stories as you're going through the cleaning where it's just like, a little thing comes up and they're like, and on your side. And in this, it's like stories about like redacted information and pilots. Like at one point you get you have a commissar like sending you messages, like he's like very annoyed, and then it like data transmission interrupted, and it's like from the pilot of the ship, and he's like, just ignore that, ignore the commissar or whatever. And like one of the things that you're cleaning off is it's like a purplish greenish like residue, and you don't know what it is.
Of course
it just says redacted residue.
That's such good 40K, right? Because everything is like long stripes of redacted, and I love it. That's so
and there's
good.
like a lot of stuff on that story stuff where it's just like there will be like sentences and half of it will just say redacted information.
I love it. I love it. That's so good.
Oh God. So right now I think I'm on the last cleaning mission. What is it that I'm cleaning? It's a big like drop ship type thing. I want to say something hawk or
Thunderhawk or
Thunderhawk.
yeah.
Cleaning a Thunderhawk right now. It's a big boy.
Yeah, those are pretty big. It's
a big
gonna
boy.
take you a minute.
It's I think I've played it a few hours already, and it's only like 29% complete.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Really begs for you to go into the co-op on this. You know,
To bring some people in, help you
get
out.
a few more Adeptus Mechanicus friends, and really go to town on it. You know.
Bring your friends in to help you clean. I love it. I love the generation of games we belong to now. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, and that Power Wash Simulator does these weird little crossovers. It's just like
I love that.
they have a Back to the Future one that they released last
Oh,
year.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Jesus.
you can clean the DeLorean, you clean the clock tower,
That's awesome.
you clean the
Save the
train.
clock tower.
Yeah, the train and the movie theater where it's Jaws 19.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Oh yeah. So that's what I've been playing. Phil, what have you been playing?
Well, I also have been playing a fun/funny 40K game. I actually recently finally playing. I've owned this for a while, and I finally started playing Warhammer 40K Shootas, Blood, and Teeth, which is
Is that an orc?
I think it is orc, and I think that's one of the funniest things about the 40K universe is that the level of sincerity you get in a story depends on what army you're following.
Yeah.
And if you're playing an orc one, it's always going to be hilarious and strange. And this does a really good job of translating the world of the Greenskins into the 40K universe because nothing is taken seriously. You're killing orcs, you're killing commissars, you're killing Imperial Guard. Like, everybody needs to die. And it's very goofy and it's super customizable. You can unlock teeth, which is what they call just basically cash, and use it to unlock new hats and stuff like that for yourself. And I'm still getting used to the controls because it's one of these sides. It should be a really simple side-scrolly shooter kind of game. But it is one of those ones where you use the right thumbstick to aim your gun while using the left to move your legs. And I'm given flashbacks to when I first got an Xbox and had to learn to do that with first-person shooters, and I was so sure I wouldn't be able to do it.
Right.
I'm sure it'll be fine. But I'm enjoying it so far. It's nothing crazy, but it's funny and it's
Awesome.
fun. Yeah. And I played a little bit of the latest Civilization 6 scenario, the Head of Cyrus, where you play the Scythian queen who has been offered a hand in marriage by the Persian king, and the only proper response is to take his head.
Of course.
So I'm making my way across the Near East in search of a palace where I can get inside and cut this guy's head off for daring to try and dethrone a queen.
For daring to do that.
I love it. I think Civ has done a very good job of these little scenarios. There's nothing terribly special about them, but they're these monthly limited scenarios. Like, there's a part of me that wishes there was like some sort of achievement or something attached to it, but it's just a fun excuse to try a scenario or an army or something that maybe you wouldn't normally do. So yeah, that's been. Oh, and I put together a Lego set for my desk at work.
Oh, that's good.
I got the
good
Super
to do.
Mario Piranha Plant.
Yeah.
It's like this tall and it's beautiful. I'll post a picture of it.
Yeah, get a picture on there
on our
Yeah.
Instagram. It's super good.
So,
yeah.
you know what's wild is that there are 52 games, Warhammer games, available on Steam right now.
Jesus Christ.
52 Warhammer video games. So the last two that were released were Rogue Trader and Warhammer Age of Sigmar Realms of Ruin, which is a real-time strategy game. But yeah, it's just because I was just looking up the game that the Orcs and Teeth one, and then I saw like, oh, what's this Battle Sector game?
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, is this just Warhammer 40K XCOM?
In a way, it's not quite the same, but it has a vibe to it. A lot of people have really been enjoying that one.
Yeah, it's got pretty high reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the they have a game Gladius rather, which is basically their 4X. And I was playing that a lot for a while, and I haven't played in a while. I might have to get back into that again.
Yeah, there's Battlefleet Gothic 2, Gladius, Necromunda Hired Gun. So one of the ones that popped out to me actually as I was scrolling through was it's a VR only game called Battle Sister.
Yes, I wish I don't care about VR one way or the other most of the time, but I would like to play that game.
Who wouldn't want to? Was it the Adeptus Sororitas?
Yes.
Who wouldn't
Sisters of Battle
want to join in on with the Sisters of Battle, especially after you play Rogue Trader and you have your Sister of Battle as your best girl. You know,
she is best girl. Like that's all there is to it. She's wonderful. She's my girlfriend. That's all there is to it.
She doesn't have romance options, but she's, you know.
But I think we know how she feels.
We know how she feels.
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows. Yeah. Well, she can't be married to anybody because she's already married to the Emperor.
Right. Nuns with guns. I mean, that's what that's what we're dealing with here. I get it, but I don't know. I see the way she looks at me. I get it.
Yeah. The wild eye. She has her portrait is just her going like,
like
oh, don't look at those eyes for too long.
Just completely unhinged. It's beautiful, really. It's quite
beautiful.
Good.
It's a brilliant, it's a brilliant thing. I like it too. Anyway, that'll do it for tonight's episode. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. Remember to rate us 5 stars on Apple. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify, and rate us a bajillion stars wherever you see fit. Follow us on Blue Sky, Shitter, Instagram, and Patreon, as we mentioned before. Just search up Pixelic Pod. Give this video a like on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube. Do all the things.
Do all the things.
If you want to really support us, like a really supportive bra, then you could just go ahead and do those things, you know?
Yeah. If you loved us, you would.
If you loved us, you wouldn't set us free. You'd bring us in closer.
Yes. Give us support.
Give us support.
So we don't get all saggy later.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
Anyway,
all right.
That's how it works. Have a good night.
Yeah. Good night.